Hello. I'm gonna make this really short and sweet. This is obviously not a video that anyone wants to make, that I want to make, but my husband and I, have taken you on our entire fertility journey, and I have shared so many times that I will continue to share the ups, the downs, the joys, the lows. And unfortunately, after the joy we had a few weeks ago finding out we had twins, we went in for our ultrasound monitoring appointment 2 weeks later, and unfortunately we lost one of our twinnies. And it was shocking, completely unexpected by both the staff at our clinic, our doctor, and by us, because when we went in the week before, we had two perfectly sized still embryos, perfect heart rates, and it was like, you know, the joyous of the joys. But I'm actually so glad that I got to share that news with you, because if I didn't, it's like that news would have never, you know, had the joy that it had behind it. And so many of you were excited for us, like we were so excited. It's really unfortunate, but I want to tell you why. I already shared this to Instagram, so if you already saw it, the Instagram response was phenomenal, minus like 3 comments. But it's unfortunate that there are people in this world that dislike you, that are judgmental, that can't be supportive. It's just really unfortunate for that. But my YouTube fam is usually really, really great. So again, this is a hard video to make, but one of our twinnies decided that it wanted an identical. So this happens usually in 1 in 100 embryos. I've shared this a few times. If you've watched every single fertility journey video that I've shared a lot about, you know, the strengths of an embryo, the energy they have. Well, our embryo decided that it wanted to split into 2. Had this successfully happened when we went in for our last appointment, we would have saw that we had triplets, an identical plus 1. But when that embryo was using its energy to try to split, it ended up losing energy, and unfortunately it ended up dying, which is just so much to wrap our head around. Like, I think we can accept that news overall, knowing that it tried to double and use its energy, and it was so strong that that's where it took itself, but it's still not the easiest news to hear. So when we went in for our monitoring appointment, it was like business like usual. We were joking around with our doctor, and you know, she delivered the news with such grace, and she said that she would study photos of the embryo and call us back later. So she called us back because she believed, first off, by looking at it, that it was trying to split. It looked very different than it did 2 weeks prior. It also looked very different than the other baby, baby B. Baby A is the one that tried to split and unfortunately didn't make it. Baby B looked like, you know, it should at that stage, but the other one just didn't quite look right. So she studied it, she took pictures, and then she also took my blood levels into consideration. And the week of this happening, the week in between the appointments, I was so sick. I had called the clinic multiple times because I couldn't keep anything down. I was just like, I mean, I felt like I was at death's door. And a lot of people that have had HG probably know what I'm like talking about. I was not diagnosed with HG, but I was worried that I had it because I couldn't keep anything down. And I was just so sick. Well, when she looked at my blood numbers, because I did have blood work done again, I have blood work done at every appointment, my HCG was so elevated that she confirmed her original thought that this embryo was trying to split based on my numbers and then based on the photos. And like I said, it's common-ish for embryos to split. 1 in 100 does happen. And you know, we just have to accept the news that we just have 1 now, not 2. And if you're wondering, because I did have a lot of questions, baby B is doing wonderful. It will never notice that baby A, unfortunately, is no longer there with it. It had a great heart rate. It was perfect on size. We also got our estimated due date at the last appointment, due to like size and everything. We got that. And so we find ourselves in this weird entanglement of grief and joy. And so many people said this so like took the words that I wanted to say and put this so well on Instagram. Grief and joy are not a dance that's common in life that we can really find a peace with. It's like one day you're dealing with grief and then the next day you're dealing with joy. And it doesn't even have to be a whole day. And one of the greatest things about sharing this on Instagram is so many people shared with me their losses of singlets or twins, whether they had, you know, twins and they lost one early on, or they had a singlet. And it just makes me happy in a way. And I don't know if that's the right word, but to know that other people also go through this and I'm not alone. Because I think that's one of the things with grief is we isolate ourselves and we make ourselves feel like we're alone and no one else will understand us. But like, so many of you understand. I'm so thankful that we have a strong little baby that is doing great, and we're gonna just focus on that as we also continue to grieve the loss of our other little. So I do want to quickly say too, just thank you for being here. And next week I'm gonna post a different video. I had a different one scheduled to post today, but I thought I'd post this one. We graduate from our clinic on Tuesday in just a couple of days from you seeing this, and then we go to our regular OB, and hopefully we have a very normal pregnancy moving forward. I say normal because I'll be off meds, we won't be as highly monitored, and hopefully that will also give us some closure in just this craziness as well. Honestly, like this entire journey from February until now has been just so insane. So many ups, so many downs. I know personally for me, with my fertility treatments, they started in July with my husband, they started in February, they started in July for me, and it's just been one thing after another. And it just feels like we're riding this roller coaster through life. And yeah, I mean, I don't have much other to say than that. Just thank you for being here, for being supportive, and we love you guys so much.